Hi, Chan.
Hello there, Laura.
It would be great to start off if you could tell us a little bit about your background and your journey into housing.
Okay, well, I came to this country when I was very young and emigrated from Uganda in 1972, actually after a few stints in private rented housing, fairly substandard housing. We moved into a council home.
Okay.
So when I talk about social housing, I do have some personal experience of it. When I left university in the sort of early 80s, I decided that I didn't want to be an accountant, nothing against accountants, but I wanted to do something with a social purpose. I've always been motivated by the ability to make a difference. So I started to work in a local authority, working with homeless people. And today I'm a CEO of EMH Group, which is a large regional housing group.
Okay, great. And could you tell us a little bit about why you want to be Vice President of the Chartered Institute of Housing?
Well, with over 30 years of experience in local authorities, housing associations, with housing education and other aspects of housing, I felt really that I want to be in a position now to be able to influence policy at a national level. So I think to be able to act as an ambassador for the CIH and promote professional standards in housing would be a great privilege for me. And more immediately, obviously as Vice President, if I were to be successful, my role would be to support Jo Richardson in terms of her role as President, and in particular to support her wonderful campaign called Homeful, which is a publication that's a must read, because having worked with homeless people, I know how important it is for society to address that burning issue. So I'd certainly see my role initially as Vice President to support Jo, but actually also to be a member, continue to be a member of the CIH board.
Yep.
Because in that capacity, I suppose it's my role, along with the CEO and other members of the governance body, to ensure that the CIH is run effectively.
Sure. Great. Okay. And finally, just if you were successful, what do you think would drive you through your vice presidency and then into your presidency? You've obviously touched a little bit about that just now, but is there anything else that you'd like to add to that at all?
So yeah, I think the vice presidency is an opportunity to get used to the role that you will assume when you're a president, and of course, as I say, working with Jo, supporting her campaign, but also being an effective member of the CIH board, is something I'd assume immediately. But really, as president, ultimately, I would see my role in a number of different ways. Firstly, to protect the reputation of the sector, and we all know the sector's taken a bit of a battering recently, and I would say generally over the last decade. I'd certainly want to use the opportunity I would have to promote equality, diversity and inclusion.
Sure.
CIH is deeply committed to it. It's dear to my own values, and I see it as a bit of a failure of the sector that 30 years ago we talked about underrepresentation from BAME communities, women on boards, and so on. Today we're having exactly the same debate. So I think that's something we need to do a great deal about. The other thing I'd see myself being involved with is the whole issue of professionalism. I do have some experience of housing education as an examiner, as a lecturer, and so on, and as a student. So I experienced housing education in a number of different ways, and I know the importance of professionalism. It's helped me to get to where I am today, and I think it could help a lot of other people. And I think the social housing white paper gives us a great opportunity to do that. And I think it could be a means by which we can address the whole stigmatization
Sure.
problem. But crucially, I think it's a good way to promote housing as a career of choice, particularly for young people, many of whom leave colleges, school, universities, but don't see affordable housing, social housing as a kind of career path. When you think about it, that every city, every town in this country has a housing association. And they have a whole range of different professions and occupations within those organizations. And actually to be able to advance your career, but actually make a real difference.
Yeah.
Such a powerful argument that I think we need to do it more powerfully, make that argument. The other thing, of course, is that I would use it as an opportunity to argue for causes that are dear to me. I mentioned the issue of homelessness.
Yeah.
I think, you know, in the fifth richest country in the world, to see people sleeping rough on our streets is just not acceptable.
Yeah.
I think we ought to use our influence in any way we can at the CIH to influence government policy and help to address that. I've certainly talked about professionalism, but also I would argue for other causes such as affordability, you know, increasing housing supply, because ultimately there is a housing crisis and we're not building enough homes. You know, if you like, that's at the root of all of the problems we have, or many of the problems that we have. And the other thing that's important to me, because we're a housing and care organisation, and I can see some of the great work that our people do in providing vital services for those people who have learning disabilities, you know, older persons who need care. And I can see that our interventions do make a difference. So I think the whole issue of adult social care and the fact that we've also got a care crisis as well as a housing crisis is something we need to bear in mind. But above all of that, there are some big issues that face us over the next, you know, decade. And we need to be at the heart of the levelling up debate. Housing associations are, and housing organisations and local authorities generally are anchors within their communities. And I think the levelling up agenda is something we ought to be heavily involved in. We've got the big issues of decarbonisation, and there are some serious questions to ask. You know, the aims are entirely laudable. We've got to support them. I think it's a great opportunity for the sector to lead the way. But how it's going to be paid for is still a question that needs to be answered. What kind of technology we use needs to be addressed. But above all, the most important thing here is how do we bring our residents along? Because ultimately, this is all about residents, our tenants, many of whom suffer from fuel poverty, and to be able to say to them that we want to make changes to the heating system so that we could save the environment when they're more concerned about where the next meal is coming from is something we need to square. And I think we need to have a meaningful dialogue with them. And then finally, in terms of the other big issue, there are too many big issues, but this is the world post-COVID. You know, and nobody believes that we can go back to the old normal. So I think you know, we're all evolved. The new normal is evolving, and we're all going on that journey. And I think there's a huge debate to be had in terms of where housing organisations end up in terms of that journey. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Well, it sounds like there's lots of challenges ahead for the sector indeed. Thank you very much for your time today, Chan, and best of luck with the election.
Thank you very much, Laura, and I look forward to the outcome of the elections and the hustings before then.
Great, thank you, Chan.
Thank you.